please write this down, and I hope this is your mantra. I'm falling in love with investing in myself. I'm falling in love with investing in myself. It takes away that pressure. I'm giving somebody my money. You're not giving anybody anything. You're giving yourself the opportunity to grow. There's some cultures that are out there, y'all. That's all they do is invest. Invest, invest, invest. I'm going to get a t-shirt. Invest, invest. Invest where you want to go, not where you are. You asked for the routines of a millionaire. They invest. Big time.
Focus on your finances. What's a necessity? What's just for enjoyment? Let's cut out the enjoyment until we in a position where we really on our feet. I've done it before. I've done it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to push yourself. You got to challenge yourself. You got to push yourself, and being great, it won't be easy.
Yeah, the sacrifice is always worth it.
Most definitely.
Always.
Nobody ever said being at the top would be easy, so you can't expect that.
That's right.
I don't expect for nothing to be easy. Let's put in the work, let's get there, and we'll thank ourselves.
Rich people don't really own things, and you're gonna want to save this video if you're a girly who just plans on.
Hi y'all, my name is Nina and I am a certified financial planner professional, and she is so right. One of the main things that I learned in my CFP journey is that once people get to a certain level of wealth, they are trying to own as little assets as possible. Most people don't realize that if you die with an estate that is larger than 13 million, you have to pay taxes on that amount, and the taxes are at 40%. And this is one of the many reasons why wealthy people use trust. And they also, once they're getting closer to getting old, they will start to try to gift some of their assets or to donate some of their assets to charity, just so those assets are not included in their estate, and so they won't have to pay estate taxes on them. The other nice thing about trust is that assets in trust avoid probate, and you're able to structure a trust to really be completely in control even once you've died. Most of your favorite wealthy celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Beyonce, and Jay-Z, they all use trust. The more you know, right?
It's giving boss beach. It's giving boss beach. It's giving bad beach. Never ever play me like I'm ass. Never bring a nigga over where I lay my head.
Hey Rych Babes, I'm Dyor. Welcome back to the channel. I'm really excited. I'm still not feeling my best today, but here we are. So today we're going to talk about something that's so important when it comes to leveling up: financial freedom. We all want to be free from the burden of debt. And let's be real, money is a tool to help us get to where we need to be in life. It brings us options, security, and freedom to live the life that we deserve. But here's the thing, money is more than just numbers in your bank account. It's all about its energy. The way you think and feel about money can actually affect how much you attract. If you see money as hard to come by, or if you feel like you'll never have enough, you're blocking your own blessings. Start changing how you feel about money. See it as a tool that allows you to live abundantly, to have choices, and to give back. Know that God wants you to experience happiness and abundance, not lack. You're deserving of financial freedom. Thank you so much for watching, Rych Babes. Thank you all so much for your loving wishes on me getting better. And thank you to all those that purchased on Rych Milan Co. and they received their digital products. Yesterday I launched 2 ebooks. One is Manifest That Shit and the other is Leveling Up. They are both great ebooks. They're digital products but you can download instantly, and then you're able to use those to help you with your goals and your dreams and your desires. I will not be coming back at the end of this video, Rych Babe. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Stay rich.
Here's a secret that rich people understand that if you ever want to get out of the struggle, you need to understand as well. It's actually not a secret. We're just not openly taught this. When you don't have money, you have to work for that money. When you do have money, you make it work for you. So how do you get from working just to make ends meet and pay your bills over to money is expanding and working for you? You probably don't want to hear this, but the answer is you're going to have to sacrifice, and we'll talk about what that looks like in a second. Here are the milestones you're going to have to meet to get to this other side, and this is the stuff that I'm teaching every single day on my channel because you can do this. First priority is saving up an emergency fund, $1,000 to $2,000 as a safety net, and then you go and you start paying off your high interest debt. All of your high interest debt needs to go. It's non-negotiable. Once you pay that off using an avalanche or snowball plan, you go back and you save your emergency fund to 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in a high yield savings account. Now that money's already going to be working for you, making free money in a high yield savings account, but we're going to take it a step further and start investing your money. I don't mean crypto or individual stocks. I mean things like index funds or ETFs. I have more content about that if you're interested. Now you may be thinking, I don't have enough money to save. I can barely pay my bills. This is where sacrifice comes into play. You want to hit these milestones by any means necessary. That means you might have to get side jobs temporarily. You might have to invest your time to learn new skills that can bring you more money. You have to learn how to say no to friends and family who don't know what your financial goals are. You have to let go of your image, okay? So quit trying to buy the newest phone, the newest car, the biggest car you can afford, the biggest house you can afford. Is it fair that sometimes people have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to make ends meet plus try to hit their goals? No, not really. But you can either focus on that and stay stuck, or you can focus on trying to hit these goals and get yourself into a better situation. Working multiple jobs does not have to be forever, but guess what? Like I said, by any means necessary, you need to hit these goals. So if it takes you a couple years of working side jobs and working a lot of hours to finally get to a place of financial freedom, it is worth it, trust me. You're also going to have to do some mindset work because mindset is absolutely everything. Mindset alone, just sitting there thinking about positive things, doesn't get you rich, no, but mindset opens up opportunities that you can't even imagine. When you do a lot of mindset work, you let go of limiting beliefs, you get out of the victim mentality, you start to realize that you are actually in control of your life and you can make anything happen for yourself that you want to. And take it from me because I used to be worse than broke. I had $0, even negative, in my bank account, and I was a single mom, very much struggling to get by. Because of all these things I'm talking about, I am now on the path to becoming rich in my future. I also want to talk a little bit about letting go of your image, and I'm going to use myself as an example again. I want a new Tahoe, and I have the money to go and get it. But should I do that right now? Should I go and buy a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 vehicle when I could be sinking that money into my investments that's going to get me a way bigger return? I have goals and I'm going to hit them by any means necessary. And for me, that looks like me continuing to drive around my paid off minivan because it has no payment. I send that money straight to investments and that money is growing me money while I sleep. Everybody's goals are different. Everybody's threshold for going aggressively at their goals is different. So you have to decide, what does that look like for you? For me, that looks like being content with the material things that I have right now, being content with not getting my nails done every 2 weeks. I do them at home now. And guess what? I don't restrict myself down to the bare bones minimum. I let myself have fun with my money and I still am able to hit my goals. That's because I did a lot of sacrifice up until this point to get to where I am right now. And I'm no different than you are. I promise you. Go look at my story on my page, my journey. It's pinned at the top of my page and you will see what my journey has looked like. I've worked 14-hour days. I've worked multiple jobs at a time. I've invested thousands of dollars to learn new skills. I've done it all. I promise this is possible for you too. You just need to have some mindset shifts and you need to understand that the main goal is making your money work for you. That's the goal by any means necessary, and that is why I'm on TikTok teaching the things that I teach, because this is possible for anybody. So commit to yourself. You're going to do one thing today to get you closer to your goals, whether that is sitting down and making a plan, or you can go to my bio and get my free Money Mastery Basics guide. That will get you started. Just do something that's going to bring you closer. You got this, friend.
A lot of people want financial freedom in this life, but I feel like it's really important to understand that financial freedom does not just mean learning how to make more money. Financial freedom, in my opinion, means learning how to do money God's way so that money doesn't constantly stress you out for the rest of your life or take the throne of your heart for the rest of your life. So if you're looking to become financially free in all the ways, let's look into what God has to say about it. Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. In addition to that, Matthew chapter 6, verse 31. So do not worry about what you'll eat, about what you'll drink, about what you'll wear, but seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be given to you as well. So what is God saying about financial freedom? Lesson number 1, you cannot serve money over God. You should not prioritize money over prioritizing your relationship and your trust in God. Now you might be thinking, I don't serve money, I don't prioritize money over God. Okay, well, let's do a quick little heart check. If you are always worrying about your finances, if every decision you make is backed up by the fear or the thought in regards to your financial situation, you're serving money. It's one thing to be wise. It's a whole nother thing to be so overly obsessed that you don't even realize that subconsciously money has complete control over your life. So learn to flip it. Let God take control. Don't chase after money. Chase after God and his calling over your life. And as you do, watch how God begins to pave the way for financial freedom to take place in your life. All right, lesson 2, let's dive in. Matthew 24:14. It will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to the other 1 bag, each according to his ability. Pause. God said, each according to his ability. What does that mean? God will only bless you with the amount of money that he knows you are capable of handling. In other words, he trusts that you will manage that money well. How's your budgeting going? The Bible also says, do not be a slave to the lender. So how is it going with you working towards getting out of debt? Are you prioritizing that? The Bible talks about numerous times the importance of being generous with your money. Are you generous with your money? Do you have a giving heart with the money that you do have? And lastly, are you putting your money towards good investments, no matter how small or how big? Are you being wise with your investment choices? In summary, 2 of the servants put their money to work and they ended up getting more money back. So much so that God, or this man in this story, praised his servants. He said, well done, you have been faithful with the few that I gave you. Therefore, I can trust you with the more that I want to give you. I will put you in charge of more. I will give you more. But the other servant, he hid that money. He saved it, most likely out of fear. And he thought that that was the wise choice to make. But his master, aka God, literally said, that was a lazy choice. You did not sow so that you could reap. You did not plant what I bless you with so that you could harvest more of what I want to bless you with. Therefore, you have mismanaged your money and I cannot trust you with more. God doesn't just give you money so that you can save for your own selfish ambitions. Is saving smart? Absolutely, but to an extent. If you are saving out of fear all the time, rather than figuring out and managing where to put that money towards wise investments that God is calling you to make, towards being generous, towards getting out of debt, things of that nature, then what are you doing? Do money God's way. Because when we do, true financial freedom, it's right there.
Want to be the first millionaire in your family? You're gonna need to learn how to strip. Now that I have your attention, I'm Vivian, your rich BFF and your favorite Wall Street girly who can show you how. S, savings, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, put it into an FDIC insured high yield savings account to get the most of your money. T, total debt, pay it down. Rank your debt from highest to lowest interest rate and pay it down in that order. R, retirement. Are you taking advantage of tax-advantaged retirement accounts like your IRAs or Roth IRAs? Set these accounts up and try to max out these contributions. As for what to actually buy in the accounts, simple target date funds and index funds are a good way to go. I, income. You need to prioritize maximizing your income because it's way easier to save money by making more money than by cutting out every little discretionary expense that brings you any joy. You gotta ask for a raise annually. And P, plan for the future, set 5 and 10-year goals, write them down, and tell a friend so that you can stay accountable. You got this.
Get ready with me while I talk to you about the secrets the wealthy don't want you to know. 401ks were never invented to make you rich. They actually didn't even come about until the late 1970s, early 80s, so they're actually fairly new. Prior to that, the norm was actually pension plans. Pension plans were this pool of money that the company would pay into for the employee. The amount was based on how long the employees worked there and their salary. Pensions were much more consistent because you knew exactly how much you were going to get and exactly how much you were going to retire with, unlike 401ks that are so based on the market. Now, when you look at 401ks and you compare the two, you'll notice that the 401k actually benefits the employer rather than the employee. Now the employee actually has to match their own 401k. The employee now no longer has a consistent amount that they can rely on because, again, it's just based on the market. One day, the government and the top men in Wall Street came together and they realized that the middle class was not investing enough money into the stock market. So that's when they came up with 401ks because it was a win-win for everybody. The corporations didn't have to pay so much in retirement plans and they could get the middle class to willingly put their money into the stock market. When you think about financial recessions and economical downturns, the people who get affected the most are those that have their money in the 401k. Now, show me somebody who's actually living off of their 401k. Exactly. Secret number 2, the amount of money you make is not tied at all with how hard you work. The rich have pushed this narrative for so long, so that way people who engage in modern day slavery feel a little bit better about it because they're hoping they will someday become wealthy. How rich you are only has to do with 2 things: value and volume. How much value you're able to bring to the marketplace and how much volume you're able to distribute at one given time. I'll use myself as an example. I am in finance and accounting, which is a very valuable skill. Of course, I'm able to make a lot of money. However, it's still dependent on the amount of volume that I'm able to put out. So of course, I can be in a skill or have a job that makes a lot of money, but there will always be a cap. But if I'm able to increase my volume, then I'm able to increase how much I'm able to make. For instance, me offering service, there's only so much I can make unless I hire other people to do the same thing. I am then increasing the volume of how much I'm able to put out, thus increasing my income. Those are the 2 main factors whenever you want to get rich. Secret number 3, the stock market actually isn't that hard. They just use complicated terms and analogies, so the average everyday person doesn't even want to get into it. They also push propaganda to say that stocks are so risky, such a scary investment, but if you look at some of our top multimillionaires and billionaires, their money is in stocks. Yes, real estate is good too, because I know a lot of people always compare the 2, but they really shouldn't be compared at all. It's just one asset vehicle versus another. It's not to say there's not a lot of risk involved. If you can understand and make calculated risk, you can 100% make money. Last but not least, money is not real. The only thing that's real is the idea of money. As much as I would love to go into depth about it, I actually can't because I have to go, and I would probably mind fuck you anyway.
One thing I've learned from hanging around wealthy people is that they do not spend all of their time trying to save money. Notice that they focus more on finding ways to save time so that they can make more money, and they also prioritize figuring out how they can grow their money faster. So what does this look like? Instead of figuring out how they can save money on groceries, they figure out how they can make more money so that they can hire a chef. Also notice that when they're trying to grow their wealth, they're not always necessarily looking to get a side hustle or a second job. They're looking at how they can invest their money. That way they can reduce their taxable income. So they might invest in things like real estate. They might invest in private equity firms or venture capital funds. I don't know why the girlies aren't talking about this, but if you want to be a wealthy woman, you need to have these people in your circle. You need to make sure that you know real estate investors, entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, angel investors, tax planning professionals, lawyers. But if you want to be a pretty wealthy woman, you also need to make sure that you have dermatologists in your circle, makeup artists, hairstylists, nail artists, personal trainers, as well as a therapist. Make sure that you have a community that's there for your personal and professional development.
If you treat yourself like a rich person, it will come back to you.
I was working for this company once doing video of some of their workshops, and one of the CEOs or VPs was like, we want our employees to give customers white glove service, but many of them have never experienced white glove service, so they don't even know what that looks like. They don't even know that you get warm, wet towels in first class so you can wash your hands off. Like, they don't know what to choose from at the level of first class white glove service because they've never seen it. They've never experienced it. And that really opened up a new portal in my mind as someone who, lived in poverty in my childhood, who was striving to break that poverty mindset, because I knew if I could break the poverty mindset, I could make more money, I could live a better life, I could have more money, and I could provide for my family. And so I started this journey of like, how do you change your money mindset? How do you treat yourself like a rich person if you don't know how rich people are even treated? And so I have some little steps that are baby steps that you can implement. And then the other thing is, how can you treat yourself like a rich person if you don't have any money to do so, right? So it's like a chicken and the egg cycle. It's a vicious cycle. Okay. So first and foremost, I chose one part of my self-care and my image that I decided to never cut corners again. And I started with my hair. So rather than cut and color my own hair, which is what I was doing, I decided I would never do that again and I would hire someone to do it. Now, granted, I started at a low level stylist cost and then gradually worked up from there. Then at one point, I don't know when, I decided I would always have my nails done. I will always have my nails done. I do not care. This is a message that communicates to other people that grooming myself and caring about my appearance is really important. And that translates into, wealth and luxury and, an upper echelon of people. Fair or not, I don't make the rules. Another thing that I dated a guy that brought this up, how I take care of my shoes. So if my heels have scuffs on them, if they have marks on them, if they're dirty, like whatever it is, I always make sure to take care of my shoes. So slowly but surely over the years, I've been fine-tuning these little pieces. Okay, this one is a really good one, but it does require some money. Save up and buy yourself a very expensive perfume. But go into the store to have the experience. Don't buy it online. You can get samples online so you can find which one you like. And then, you're also getting this luxurious experience. But buying something in Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom or a high-end store is such a different experience, especially when nothing about you says money, but you have the money to buy the thing. Like the scene in Julia Roberts' movie, Pretty Woman. Like you walk in there with a confidence of who is going to disrespect me and who's going to respect me based on how I looked. Now, most salespeople know don't ever judge a book by its cover, because now I know, like, the wealthiest people don't show or wear their money. Like sometimes they're just wearing a black t-shirt and old gym shorts. So then every single day when you're wearing that very expensive, luxurious perfume, you're smelling it all day long. Because one thing about some of the wealth that you can exhibit is that you kind of forget about it. But your expensive, luxurious perfume is going to be there all day long, reminding you and kind of setting the mood and setting the tone. So now you're tapping into your senses. You've got sight, your sound, your scent, your smell, your feel of luxury. And so if to you having a very expensive designer purse is a daily reminder that you deserve the money, that you can get the money, that you can have nice things, then get that. If it's not, like for me, it really isn't. I just have a Coach purse. I haven't leveled up. It's not really a big deal for me. So I'm like choosing different things that, are really important to change my money mindset. For example, if it's my birthday, if I'm going to a big event, if I know there's going to be pictures or photos, I hire a makeup artist. That is one of the best, most luxurious things that tells me like I'm valuable and I deserve that white glove treatment. I've also cut out going to like little bars or little spots or whatever, and I'll save my money up and I'll go to a very, very nice upscale bar restaurant, sit at the bar where I can meet people, talk to people. I have a travel credit card and I collect points and I will redeem those points for first class. So you can put all of your expenses on a travel work credit card and redeem those points and get into first class. When you start seeing what money does, when you start seeing how people with money are and aren't, it helps you have data to pull from so you can start getting into this mindset. And by and large, it's so true. Like people with money are just like us. I've met jerks. I've met amazing, kind people. I've met flashy people. I've met really quiet, obscure people that you would never know are multimillionaires. And, one guy I met who, I had the likes for, but he was a multimillionaire and you never would have guessed it by what he was wearing, but you definitely knew by how he acted and how he carried himself. And one last thing that I've implemented for a very long time, and this is free. People with money are intentional. They walk slower. They're patient. They tell someone, hey, I'd like to try this on a 7. And they sit there and they wait. They're not trying to go get the 7 for themselves. They're not trying to be a part of the process. If a server is helping him, they may not be grabbing the menus. I feel like as someone coming from a low income background, I'm always trying to make myself useful. I'm always trying to prove I belong there by being a helper. People with money don't typically behave that way. They are present and intentional. And I also want to add, I work with Hollywood actors and actresses. So I have a lot of exposure to people with a lot of money and that status that a lot of us, want to achieve. And it's definitely fascinating. You can implement it in small steps, like the original poster says in her video, and it does change the landscape. It changes what money you make. It changes how you see your worth. It changes the level of people that you're around. And then you start getting access to opportunities that are different than the opportunities you had down here. It's just fascinating, and I'm so excited to be on this journey, and I still have a lot of way to go, so I hope that helps you.
We are done making excuses in 2024. This is how you're going to become a wealthy woman this year. First thing that you're going to do is you're going to start working on your relationship with yourself. This is the reason that you are not seeing the progress that you want to see in everything in your life. Every area of your life that you are frustrated about, it all goes back to you, unfortunately. Everything is a reflection of you. If you're unhappy in your relationships, you're unhappy about your finances, you're unhappy about all kinds of things, it's probably because there's something in you that you have not worked through. There's something there, babe. We got to look in the mirror and work through it. Now, in my new Wealthy Woman journal, I cover this in depth. I walk you through working on our limiting beliefs and the things that we need to improve in ourselves, but also working on shifting our identity so that you can become the woman that you want to be. The next thing that you need to be doing is praying over your finances. This is so important. A lot of us love to beg God and ask God for a bunch of things all the time, but in His Word, He actually gives us a lot of promises around our money, and He also speaks a lot about money a ton in the Bible. So when you pray, if you pray according to Scripture, it's much more powerful. So you need to be finding Scripture that aligns with whatever your situation is, even if it's another area of your life, not just money. You also have to be careful. Every single day you're encountering people who may not have the best intentions for you. They may not want to see you win. You're also probably speaking negatively over yourself. So you need to be combating that as much as possible. So be diligent. That's the thing. A lot of us will pray one time and be done. You need to be diligent in your prayers over yourself and over your finances and over every area of your life. In the journal, I actually have scriptures listed out that you can be confessing over your life. And I also have a prayer that you can start praying over your finances. Next thing that you're going to start doing is you're going to find ways to increase your income. You need cash flow in order to create wealth. You can't do all of the other steps to create wealth without having cash flow to begin with. You have to have a decent amount of cash flow with a decent amount of disposable income. That's the key, so that you can start doing more things to leverage your money. And the other thing I want y'all to start doing is I want you ladies to stop leaving all your money in cash. This is the biggest reason a lot of women are not as wealthy as they could be. Studies have shown that 71% of us are leaving our money in cash, meaning that you are not building wealth. You have to learn how to start investing. There are so many ways to invest because your money is losing its value every single day. They talk about inflation constantly. When you hear that word inflation, that means the value of your money is going down. Your $100 last year might be worth $70 today. So investing allows your money to hold the same value.
When I say the wealthy has a language, they have a language. I just came from a networking mixer. I'm fresh out of the event, so I just had to get it out. But when I was listening to the panelists, they mentioned something that reminded me of this video, and I had to go find it to share it with y'all. Let me just stitch it in so y'all can get an idea of what I'm talking about if you haven't already saw it.
If you could leave them with what it really takes to become a millionaire going into 2024, give them a couple last pieces of advice on what it really takes. Make God a part of your life, and that is to seek God in all that you do.
3 main things that I noticed across the panel, and that's what allows them to be a millionaire. First one, they all mention God, all of them. Every single last one of them. They shout out God with the big G, not the little one, not the little one. It's like everyone wants to be a boss, you know what I mean? But like, you ever wonder who the boss turns to? They turn to God. They turn to God. That's who their boss is. They listen to God, and that's why they're able to be the CEO, the millionaire, or whatever it is. Number 2, the rich do not multitask. Okay, multitasking is a broke thing. It is. Trying to juggle all these, no, you know what they speak? They speak delegation and hiring staff to do the stuff that they don't have the capacity to do. Not to do. My bad. There was this one lady in the crowd who asked a question to the panelists. So she's married, she has 2 kids, she has 2 businesses, and she was asking them if it's smart for her to start another business because she wanted that residual income so that she could focus on the other 2 businesses. They all said, why do you have 2 businesses that you're working on? The only way that they would recommend working on more than one business at a time was if one business supplies the other one. So if you're selling maybe e-commerce and then the other one is like a supplier for it, that's the only way that you can juggle two. Otherwise, they say true entrepreneurship is going all in into one business. And that's why you hear of entrepreneurs who go bankrupt and like try 7 different times before they make it, because they literally go all in on one thing. It's risky business, but they do it. And they know eventually that's what's going to make the money. So they do not spread themselves thin across multiple things. They focus on one thing and they will exhaust themselves with that one thing. They will not multitask. They will hire, they will delegate, they will pay for the service, but they will not spread themselves thin. That's the energy that they exude. Get somebody else to do with energy. Number 3, they have a board of directors for their life. Like, they literally have a set of people that they have to report to. They treat their lives as a business because they need to make sure that them, as the employee of their lives, because their life is their biggest asset, they have the people in place in order to make sure that they're on track. And then it made me think of stories in the Bible where the kings, they had board of directors. Like, for example, in the story of Esther, I mean, let me drop a little knowledge about the Bible here, right? The story of Esther, the reason she became queen is because the queen before her was disrespecting the king. Instead of the king reacting because he was upset, he went to his board of directors and asked them what should be done to the queen who disobeys the king. And they told him what to do. And these millionaires were saying the same thing. They said they have a board of directors for their lives. They treat their lives like a business. And they don't just become friends with just anybody. And I felt like that was in my business because I just be like, oh, she cute, I'm cute, we like to brunch, let's be friends. No. That's not how you're going to become a millionaire. Now, I know a lot of us don't do that, but it's okay. It's still early in the year. So do those 3 things, baby. Keep God as number 1. Do not multitask. Hire the help. You may think you don't have the money for the help. Then you probably gonna have to go hungry a little bit so you can get the help so that you can focus. And number 3, you need to set a board of directors. Them friends that you brunching with and hanging out with, they not the board of directors. They're gonna go with every Delulu idea that you got. You need people who are not necessarily related to you and people maybe that you pay, because a lot of these millionaires, they pay for their mentors. They pay big money to sit down once a month with a mentor. Okay, that's all I got.